guys, welcome back to another Sela Cup vlog. This is where it all started on the channel. I'm going to do it again and hopefully do it a little bit better this time. Travelling up tonight to see Newcastle face Girona and then tomorrow against Stade Brest, with the women's team playing AC Milan as well. Obviously a massive shame that there's no big name signings to the door. Another rejected bid for Mark Gahey and also Pedro Neto is about to go to Chelsea, which was never really in the pipeline despite what I said on the Monday show. But Newcastle could be in a position where they could strike for Noni Madueke. Let's see on that. But we're heading up to St James's Park now. Girona tonight, we'll also get to see St James's Park stack for the first time as well. And then Brest on Saturday with Milan against the women's team. Tomorrow, let's get on the way then. See you there. Slightly later than I wanted to get here, but I'm at St James's Park now, ready for Newcastle United to take on Girona in tonight's first Sela Cup game. Don't know what the team sheet is yet. I'll get that in about 5 minutes time from now. 2 games in the next couple of days. Just get to see what they're looking like before the Southampton game next week. The fact that there's no major signs is a shame, as I said in the intro, but Mark Gahey, I think, could be in by Southampton. I said on the live stream that I thought he might be in by the Sela Cup. That seems a little bit far now, but Noni Madueke as well, I think there's something in that. So keep an eye on that. We'll talk a bit more about that on the Monday show. But yeah, great to be back at St James's Park.
United 4, Girona 0. The first game of the weekend here for our Sela weekender at St James's Park. Tomorrow we've got 2 more games in the Sela Cup. The first is Newcastle United women playing visitors AC Milan women.
End of day 1 here at the Sela Cup, and Newcastle United won 4-0 against the Girona side that really didn't turn up, to be honest. It was a really impactful performance from the start from Newcastle. They started really strongly up front with Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon leading the line behind Alexander Isak, and that really showed that the counter-pressing was too much in the first half for Girona, and it really took the game away from the Spanish side. And they just dominated throughout. I think Murphy adding another goal really stakes that claim for that position to start next week against Southampton on the right hand side if Newcastle don't make a signing. Obviously there is the possibility, as I mentioned in the intro, of a deal for Noni Madueke, which is worth watching now that Pedro Neto is going to Chelsea, so that's one to keep an eye on. But Jacob Murphy's certainly done his chances absolutely no harm with that performance in the first half. Second half was very much a little damn squib, but interesting that the influx of youth players that usually happens in friendlies didn't happen until the very end. Eddie Howe was taking these games seriously as a last moment before the start of the Premier League season. Brevin Sanusi coming on for Anthony Gordon at half-time was the only major change, and there's a real excitement about him. You can see that he could be the next Louis Miley, if you like, the next player to come out and make a big impact at Newcastle next season, this season I should say. Lovely little drop of the shoulder and playing into Isak that didn't quite work out at the beginning of the half. Absolutely no fear with the ball at his feet. Great understanding of when to play the ball, when to run at players. Absolutely brilliant showing from a young player. That I think there's a lot to get excited about with him. But yeah, really good run out from the first day of the Sela Cup. Newcastle back here tomorrow with the women team playing AC Milan at 1 o'clock, and then Stade Brestois against the other Newcastle senior players who weren't here tonight, like Bruno Guimaraes, Kieran Trippier, Will Asula should start up front. He wasn't featuring tonight. Lloyd Kelly could be in that side as well. So a really strong Newcastle team run out comfortable winners. So really good start to the Sela Cup. Newcastle do look very good going into the season, even though there aren't any key major summer signings yet to get excited about, and that was really kind of missing in the air compared to last year when we saw Sandro Tonali. I'm going to hear from Eddie Howe next, back tomorrow, and I'll give you an update of what he said in my intro from back at St James's Park tomorrow. See you then. So we're back here for day 2 of the Sela weekend. Newcastle United's women are about to kick off in about 55 minutes against AC Milan. Hopefully you see Demi Stokes play for Newcastle's women for the first time at St James's Park, which would be absolutely huge, because signing a Lioness with 69 England caps is absolutely massive in the Championship. Real statement of intent for the women's team coming into this season. Let's see what the sport is like for the women's game at 1 o'clock, and then 4 p.m. we'll see Newcastle's other senior players, Kieran Trippier, Willa Sula, Bruno Guimaraes, and Miguel Almiron probably as well, playing in the other game against Stade Brestois. So it should be really, really interesting. We'll bring you some more updates as the day goes on. Eddie Howe yesterday, speaking about transfers, said that it's a busy window that's picking up now after a quiet time. But it's going to take time to find the right players to improve this team. And I tend to agree with him. I think I said on Twitter this morning that finding the right type of player and the right profile of player to improve this team, where you've got no European football and PSR issues to still toe the line on. You know, there aren't that many players out there, and it's going to take a lot of negotiation.
Congratulations to women's Sela Cup winners 2024, Newcastle United.
Newcastle United women have won the inaugural Women's Sela Cup on penalties against AC Milan. They'll be presented with that trophy after the men's game later on. Willa Sula starts for the men at about half an hour's time. Miguel Almiron as well. Bruno Guimaraes in there too. Sorry about the music in the background. I'm just about to go and get some food to eat before the kick-off, and I'll see you after the game for a full debrief.
The presentations. We will shortly proceed to present the trophies. The winner of the Women's Sela Cup 2024, it is your Newcastle United! As we crown the winner of the Men's Sela Cup 2024, it's Newcastle United!
Newcastle United have ended today as double Sela Cup winners. Newcastle United's women beating Milan on penalties, 1-0 for Newcastle's men against Brest as well. The second half of that game the men's game was a very, very damp squib. It was very little to really discuss, but just heard from Eddie Howe, and I think the key thing is that Newcastle looked like a pressing team again this weekend. Both games, particularly the first half obviously against Girona, first half again against Brest as well. Just winning the ball high, really energetic, really physical, really sort of at their best, and that's what Newcastle couldn't get up to last season in enough games because of, for obvious reasons, with fitness levels and players injured and all that sort of thing. So it's great to see that Newcastle were back to being the team that we know that they can be, at least for part of the game. We saw a bit more of Trevor Sanusi again in the second game as well, and he is a box of tricks. Wasn't as effective as he was against Girona last night, but really, really good. Eddie Howe sort of said that things are working on in the background. Obviously, Mark Gahey's bid that was rejected yesterday, they could go, but they'll probably go back and win another one. A definite sort of sense of things ramping up. Eddie Howe said that himself generally, but he also makes the point that it's quality over quantity this summer, and that's why it takes a while. I can understand why there's a bit of a reaction to his comment about why it's taken so long for Newcastle to get anywhere near any sort of transfer activity majorly in terms of a strong impact on the squad. But there aren't that many players out there that Newcastle can afford who would join, who are easy to get, that don't take a lot of negotiation. So Newcastle are in a position now where they're ramping up on Mark Gahey. They're interested in a winger as well. I don't think people should really be too concerned, especially considering the fact that if you look at other teams like Villa, they qualify for the Champions League and they've had to sell major players. Newcastle are going to keep all their players this season. They're going to be in really good shape to go at it from next week against Southampton. And yeah, this is a little more than a good run out, but it was good to see again 2 presentations, and hopefully this season it can be a much more memorable, much more major trophy lift for both the men's team and the women's team. I think the women's team looking for a 3rd successive promotion up to the WSL, and it's going to be they're going to be in that mix, and that's really, really impressive. No one's ever done that before, but they looked good. They looked like they could match a decent Serie A women outfit in AC Milan. I think Girona and Brest were not quite the standard of team to really test Newcastle this weekend, if I'm honest. But Newcastle have come through those tests. Bruno was electric again today at times. Harvey Barnes looks ready for the season, which is great. He needs to hit the ground running, I think, with that challenge to usurp Anthony Gordon, who also looked brilliant yesterday. So Newcastle are where they need to be going into the season. They're ready for the Premier League. I think they'll be ready for Southampton next week. Thanks so much for joining me. Like, share and subscribe. I'll be back with the Monday show on Monday. I'll see you then.